All right. Hello, Lifestyle Wellness Group. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite things to do is to interview people that are new to following the cleanse, balance, build philosophy and lifestyle. So I want to introduce my friend Rick Kauffman. Hey,
Hmm.
Rick. Rick, where are you at?
I'm up here in sunny Ohio.
Sunny, Ohio.
It's not so sunny today.
And we met, it's weird, I'm always fascinated by how people, you're in Ohio, I'm in Orlando, Florida, and we actually got linked up. That I own a swim school in Orlando, Florida, and Rick reached out to me because he has a podcast and he has a mission. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his story and his mission. But he reached out to me to interview me on his podcast, which is drowning prevention, and and how we ended up here is fascinating because I always believe people are put into our life for a reason. So Rick, I'm going to turn it over to you and you kind of give everybody your story.
Sure. Yeah, actually, I think we met on LinkedIn. I think I reached out through you through LinkedIn because that's where I spend a big majority of my time, reaching out to a lot of professionals there. And then from that standpoint, I think I sent you a few messages, whatnot. We started having a little conversation through LinkedIn. I learned a little bit about your business. I didn't know anything about this. This was kind of a surprise because it's been an interest of mine, and I'll touch on a little bit of my health issues too. I think going in there, I decided to reach out to you and ask to see if you would be willing to come on my podcast. The reason why I do the podcast, the reason why I do what I do within water safety drowning prevention is going back to 1993. My story talks about the unthinkable. When the unthinkable happens, I had a 3-year-old daughter that drowned in a public pool while she was in care of a babysitter. She was attending that pool with her older sister, swim lessons, and she drowned 8 feet in front of a lifeguard. It's As a parent, it's what I didn't know as a parent. We had a backyard pool. We thought we did everything right. And that's why I refer to it as the unthinkable, because people just don't believe things can happen to them. And, with my background, I've always been an athlete. I've always been a very competitive person. I never thought I would be a diabetic. I never thought I would have a heart problem. Never thought I would be overweight. Never thought, I'm short. And so, my wife says, you're not overweight. When I see myself in pictures and photographs and movies or video, I was like, no, that guy's overweight. But she says, no, you're not. And I said, well, two different opinions, I guess. So again, those are kind of unthinkable situations. If we live long enough, we're going to have those things that we don't think will happen to us. Especially the diabetes thing. I just never would have thought that. And it runs in my family. Heart disease runs in my family. So I guess from that standpoint, where I am today is not necessarily what I've done just this past few years. It's what I did over the last 20, 30 years since my daughter drowned. Because I was very, very active, played professional soccer in South America, played for Ohio State University. I coached college level. I've coached, I was very competitive as an athlete all the way up until I was 42 years age. I played in a college league at 42, and I outplayed these guys. I was a high school varsity coach. I could outrun all my athletes. I said, if I start off with every practice with a 2-mile run and you finish after me and I'm 40 years old, we have a problem. And consequently, I would beat 80% of them on a 2-mile run. But when I blew my knee out, I have tears on my other knee. I have, other thing. The doctor says, you can't do these things for the rest of your life. You just can't do it. And so I stopped doing some of those things. And then, of course, but the diet, all that has kind of stuck with me. And the way, not thinking that this is the result of what I was putting in my body at that point in time. It wasn't so much, the exercise, all those things were important. But then when I actually wound up, and here's, I think, where probably a period of time in my life that did the most damage to me. My wife had a horse riding accident, and she had the insurance on us and everything, and I had a business. So I had to shut the business down and go get a job. And so I always thought, hey, I thought it'd be fun to be a truck driver. So I went and got my CDL drivers, and I wound up as a truck driver for about 5 years. during the first year as an over-the-road truck driver, I wound up with a DVT in my left leg. Then when I spent a week in
And so for you guys that don't know DVT, same thing I had a DVT as well, and it is a deep vein thrombosis. And
Right.
so what that means is that there's clots that form in your veins and arteries, and they start blocking off everything. So they jam everything up. So a deep vein thrombosis is life-threatening. If a part of that clot dislodges, it can go to your brain and cause a stroke. It can go to your lungs and you'll have a pulmonary embolism. And you can go to your heart and you can have a heart attack. So it's a serious issue, and how they handle it is putting you on blood thinners. I had one after, actually I had one about 5 weeks from delivering Samantha, and was put in ICU for 7 days. And so it's a really scary situation. So, and you get it from, having issues with your blood or having clots in your blood, and then also from sitting from long periods of time. That's why when they tell you when you go on a long plane ride, get up, move around, get your legs move around, don't sit in your legs in a cross position for long periods of time. So
Right.
Go ahead, Rick.
No, but during that time, I spent a week in intensive care, and that's when I found out I was a diabetic. They informed me, say, hey, your A1C. I don't remember what the A1C was at that point in time, but evidently it was bad enough, because then they put me on insulin while I was in the hospital. I was taking Levodopa shots. I was on warfarin, or what's Coumadin, or not Coumadin, what's warfarin, and whatever, it's under another name too. I can't remember what it is, but I was on that for about 6 months. I came off of that. I was still in the truck. And then when I left here about a year ago, it was a year ago in October, I had another DVT, another blood clot. I also had superficial blood clots. That's what caused my attention to some things. So I went to the doctor, and so that's when they put me on, I'm on Eliquis. And they've told me that I probably have to be on that for the rest of my life, because the first one you can explain because I was a truck driver. The second one, I was not a truck driver. I was up, I was moving, I was active. So it happened for some reason. And a lot of it is, I have a nutritionist, with my family doctor. A lot of it is, I do have a blood disorder. It's called factor V, which makes me prone to this problem. But my diet, the things that I ate, not taking or consuming enough water, or having enough, staying hydrated. I mean, there's so many things that I learned that I didn't do right. And it always seems like no matter what all this stuff is, so much of it has come back to my diet, how I, basically what I was putting into my body, I guess you could say. That all those years, it's, a lot of it's just a habit, it's a lifestyle, but we lived a very busy life. We have 11 grandchildren. We're foster parents. We have foster kids. I mean, we are so much, I'm almost 60 years old, and we are so much on the go. And, we're looking at taking 3 other kids here that we're going to be coming out of, I think, like Columbus, Ohio, 9 years of age and up. We've had teenage mothers who are pregnant. I mean, so a lot of things we eat, it's like we got to go. It's like, got to get something to eat, take off, go in the car, got appointments, got places to go. But, we can't do that anymore. I mean, we just.
So you are super busy. You can tell, guys. And this is why I'm letting him tell you all about his life. So he doesn't have time for anything. He's got to do something quick. He's got to do something that is easy and that is efficient and will get the job done, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So over the holidays, you actually were in the hospital. And that's how I reached out to you, and I said, hey, what's going on? How can I help? Right? Mm-hmm. Because you had chest pains in the hospital.
Right.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, I thought I'd had some heart issues before. I have an inverted T wave, so they said I've had a heart attack at some point in time. It's probably just little micro heart attacks or whatever's going on. This was going on all day. It was a Saturday. As a matter of fact, it was the day Ohio State was playing. I live in Ohio, so. But in the middle of the game, I had this chest pain, and I told my wife, I said, it worried me. I was having heartburn or what felt like heartburn. Normally I could take a Tums or drink some ice water and it would go away. This was not going away. And then I had kind of a sharp pain on the left side of my chest, just to, right up, left side where your heart might be. And it was radiating up into my shoulder, my neck, down to my left arm and down into my left leg. And so she says, let's go to the hospital and get you checked. So we spent 6, 7, 8 hours in the emergency room, several blood tests. All the tests came back negative. This is what the doctor told me. He flat out told me, he said, it's a digestive problem. It's something, probably your diet. It's something you ate. It's something, and maybe coupled with stress, and couple that with, I don't get a lot of sleep. My mind is so busy. And just like you said, this is my third Zoom today, plus the one that I do for myself. And I've got another one after this. And so it's like we're constantly on the go. And I have 6, 7, 8 calls a day. So that is my day. I mean, I get up early at 5:30. I try to meditate. Yeah.
So how many hours of sleep were you getting on average?
There were some nights I'd get 3, 2.5, 3, maybe, but on average it was probably about 5. And then usually on a Saturday or Sunday, I would crash and then get it was like it all collected up, and 9, 10, 11, I've slept we don't even get to church because I can't get out of bed because it's like 11 hours sleep. I go to bed. I typically go to bed about 8:30, 9 o'clock. As soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. I have no problem falling asleep. It's what happens in the middle of the night when the dogs want up or something, then I can't go back to sleep.
And that's a very, very common problem. Like sleep's a big indicator, and sleep is when you heal. So you've got to rest, you've got to quiet your mind, you've got to let all the systems of your body shut down so they can, the next day they can work again, so they're not overran. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is really what we need as adults, of uninterrupted good sleep, right? So I reached out to Rick. We had a conversation. We did a consult, a 30-minute, 40-minute consult on the phone, and got his background and recommended a very basic regimen and protocol for him that would fit into his busy lifestyle. Some, meal suggestions and some stuff to eliminate, some things to change over. He jumped into our coaching program where we coach on a daily basis and check in. And so I was blown away, guys, by the results that he saw so fast. Okay. So after I think it was day 1, you slept better. After day 1. I'm going to go through to this. Tell people what your progress has been, and I'm going to go back and pull up some specifics of what documented.
Probably averaging about 5 hours sleep. I think it was about day 2 or so. I think I got close to 7 hours. Last night, I just was looking there because I have my Fitbit and I wear it, so it gives me my sleep tracker and everything. Last night was 8 hours, 39 minutes is what I got last night.
Whoa!
Yeah. And, the day before was 7 hours. It's been 7 hours the last 4 or 5 days. And so I've been over 7 hours actually. And according to the benchmarks and everything that I have on my tracker that, I'm hitting, the REM cycle, the deep sleep are right in the percentages where they need to be. And so I'm waking up. The last 2 mornings, my wife, just so everybody here knows, I do every Monday through Friday. I do a 9 o'clock Facebook Live in my private group that I have. But my mind is, I'm thinking. And so it was this morning and yesterday morning. I had my cup of coffee in my hand, and I've cut out all the artificial sweeteners. I just drink the coffee itself. Probably need to cut out and go to decaf coffee. We'll get to there. And I get up out of bed and I'm pacing. I can't, and she's laying in bed and her head just going back and forth. I'm pacing and I'm talking to her about, this is what we want to do today. And so that's what the biggest thing I will say right now is my energy level. Right now I just feel that is compared to where I was just 2 weeks ago. And at the time I was in the hospital, I couldn't focus on what it is. I would burn out about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd call it a day. I would actually reschedule calls. I would do, it was like, I just would rather go down and sit in my easy chair. But now the energy level, I'm much more focused. I don't have the brain fog.
Mhm.
And I just think that's where I really feel the biggest impact.
Yeah, the energy is totally through the roof. When you guys start detoxing, you start balancing out, you actually come alive again, and you get that energy back, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. So I've got you pulled up. So the first day, lower back pain, no more lower back pain. That
Right.
was the first day. No brain fog. That was day one. So he's only been on this program 7 days, guys. Okay, sleep has improved from 4 or 5 hours to now 7 to 8 hours plus.
Right.
Okay, of deep sleep, REM sleep. Energy. Let's see. Oh, your sugars. How are your sugars doing?
Yeah, before I started, I probably averaged about 180, 190 on my blood sugar. It always spikes in the morning. And, the doctor told me that probably because your blood sugar spikes, you don't have the insulin in your body because that's what's waking you up. So it doesn't regulate and come down. And so, there was my blood sugars in the morning when I would check it in the morning. I mean, we're talking 230, 240, 250. I don't take metformin. I don't take insulin. I take I think it's glucophage or something like that, or some glucose type. It's a little blue pill. It's not that blue pill, as I always say, but I take that in the morning, and then I don't really eat. If I have a breakfast, I eat anything at all. Breakfast, I usually eat eggs or something, like maybe a scrambled egg or a cheese omelet or something. But typically before that, I would have a bullet coffee. I like bullet coffees. I make it with coconut oil, things like that. And that would usually fill me up. But that would, but again, the blood sugars were high. Now, since I started, the blood sugars have consistently come down every day. They were a little high this morning, but they came back down. I checked it right about 2 hours. Let's see, yeah, about 2 hours ago I checked it, and it was 138.
Awesome.
But this morning when I woke up, I mean, it was 228, got up to 245, and then I took the like the goji, and I took everything and make it into a little smoothie, and then I didn't have, and that was my breakfast. I had a lunch, for my lunch it was a salad, where I put the Milo on the salad. I did that for lunch, and then when I checked it like 2 hours ago, it was 138, and so I haven't seen that low of a number when I check it. That is, usually when I'm not on a diet and I'm not paying attention to this, I don't check my blood because it's out of sight, out of mind. If I
Right.
don't check it, I don't know what it is, so I don't have to worry
Right.
about it. But when I'm conscious about this, then I check it, and so it's consistently have lowered. I've had 3 of the 7 days where I have not even been in the 200s,
That's awesome.
and so other than yeah, I've eliminated a lot of the carbs, I've eliminated a lot
Right.
of those things, but again, when I've done these diets where I've eliminated carbs, I've eliminated these things to help with the blood sugar, my energy drops. I don't have the same energy level that I have now, and I'm
So
not.
even now dropping those carbs, usually in the past it would drop your energy because no fuel. But
Right.
now with adding the protocol and the products we've recommended for you, your energy's through the roof.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because you're just so heavily flooded with nutrition now that your body's starting to get what it needs to function in the right way. And it's crazy to know that you've got so much energy, but then you're sleeping so well,
Hmm.
So that is that balancing out. You're starting to balance out. And those sugars in 7 days are already starting to come down, your body starting to adjust. So how many years have you been diabetic?
Um, let's see. That I had my first DVT was. It's been about 4 years now.
4 years. So
Uh-huh.
4 years of being diabetic and being on medication, 7 days on a cleanse balance build system, and we're making some progress.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sugars. We're making
Yep.
progress. Okay.
Right.
So anybody that you know that has diabetes, you better send them our way. And
Right.
we're just on phase one. We haven't even added, like, we can add some more stuff to get those sugars regulated even quicker. I just wanted to see how his body was going to react with minimal, okay, so that we can have a baseline and I can tell. Now, again, we've got our coaching program that Rich is part of, and we're able to talk on a daily basis and monitor it and give suggestions of little changes to make to help with that. So you're going to see right now, I'm going to start back in the coaching program. I'm going to start helping you add more things to regulate those blood sugars and get them even further down. Another point that I wanted to bring up that you brought up is that you feel about 10 to 20 years younger.
Yeah, yeah. When you don't feel like you feel drained, I mean, I'm 58 years old and I feel like, you know, my spirit, I don't feel 58, but my body it reminds me that you're 58. But going into the new year, the holidays, I really felt my body's telling me that you're older than 58 because I was really behaving much older than 58. And my family doctor told me, he says, you know, when I became a diabetic and I've had some of these issues and go back and test my A1C, he's flat out says, Rick, you need to change your lifestyle. Number one, we got to get you out of the truck. Number two, we got to do this. He said, we need to change your lifestyle because otherwise you won't be here at 65. And that, you know, that hit me because, you know, I want to be around for my kids. I want to be around for my grandchildren. I want to see things happen. I miss a lot of things because I'm busy, but that's by choice. But, you know, this is also by choice. I can be here past 65 if I don't make those changes. It's real now. It's what it is.
And I'm so glad you pointed that out because I talked to a lot of people that we have this conversation and they choose not to do anything. And it really hurts my heart because I know what their future holds for them, and it's not a pretty future, you know. Right. And I'm hoping that they'll see that future like you were able to see and realize, okay, look, if I don't do anything, this is the path that I'm going down. Right. So, you know, if you're sitting here contemplating, should I do this? Should I not do this? I mean, what's the holdup or what's the worst case scenario? Because we know the scenario that you're going for, that your path is leading down. Okay. So why not try something and see if it works? Obviously it has worked for Rick because in 7 days, I've listed all of the things that he's seen and the great improvements in his life. And Rick, you're going to continue down this path. I mean, with the Cleanse, Balance, Build. Correct.
Yeah, as long as I got you. We all need that kick in the butt sometimes. Somebody that can hold us accountable. I've always, I think that's what your coaching program's all about. I mean, we say we can do these things by ourselves, but how many people are successful in quitting smoking or doing what they're doing when they try to do things themselves? So they have to be part of some system. They have to be part of some team. They have to be part of somebody that's going to hold them accountable because, if I say I'm going to do something, I can talk myself out of anything.
Right.
But having somebody, by you reaching out and making me go public, that's putting me on the spot.
Now you're on the spot.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to do these live interviews because it's like, okay, now I said and it kind of keeps you motivated. But then at the same time, somebody's going to hear your story and you're going to change a life.
Right. Well, that comes right back to my mission with the water safety drowning prevention, because, if my story is about the unthinkable. So if I give up on my dream of reaching out to people, what's the unthinkable that can happen? I mean, somebody may not hear the story. Somebody may not learn something and potentially could save a life. Now, with my podcast and the thing, sometimes we don't know who sees our videos. We don't know who's going to see that, where we have the opportunity to maybe indirectly change a life. But if I give up and die at 65, I still have dreams. I still have goals. I still have things I want to accomplish. I mean, we can walk, we've all heard this before, but you can walk through a cemetery and find a lot of dreams that and things that never transpired. So I don't want to be that person and not have that dream come true, because I don't care enough about myself to be able to put myself first and fix me so I can be there when somebody else needs to be there. And I think that's why I say it's with you, with your help, you're going to ensure that I'm going to be there.
Awesome.
Now you're on the spot. Now you're on the spot.
Now I'm on the spot. So thank you so much for jumping on. I am gonna, this is gonna be posted in Lifestyle Wellness Group. This is also gonna be posted on my YouTube channel, and I will post below the comment section. If you can go into the groups and post your link so people can get in touch with you and follow you in the drowning prevention mission that you have. I would appreciate that. And you guys go and follow him and lend support and get his information out to parents that need that information, because I'm a big a supporter of your mission. So thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.